Welcome to He's Been Doing It All Day. We're Adam and Symon. This episode brought to you by the Carlton Draft. Check them out at carltondrafttshirts.com. Check us out at Instagram at Been Doing It All Day, and you can stream the full episode of He's Been Doing It All Day on YouTube. Just search it. Really easy. It's time for Sir Doug Nicholls' round 13.
Suns versus the Blues. Footy returns to Darwin, and this game needed a sign. Slippery when wet. Darwin was hot, the lads were sweaty, and someone had put too much hand sanitizer on the ball. I'm telling ya, this thing had more moisture than the Cardi B's new film clip. The Sunny Boys had the game they were supposed to have a lot earlier. They were sleepy early, and it was just lucky the baggers weren't better kicks. Eddie Betts did his best Isaac Rankin impression, and both fellas kicked one goal. They swapped jerseys after, and the baggers came up trumps. In the words of Paddy Cripps, the Blues are back. Now, I don't know if beating the 14th team on the ladder means you're back, but it's always exciting when the Blue Boys are on the hunt. Blues win by 33.
Dogs versus the D's. This was a game between two teams who are routinely hyped up every week and who routinely disappoint their routinely disappointed fans every week. It was actually a pretty good game, for the first half. The Sons of the West decided they didn't need a ruckman and played Josh Slam Dunkley in the centre circle all game, and it really didn't make a difference. Maybe Sean Grigg was onto something in 2017. After the long break, the Demons' defence became as leaky as a sharehouse roof following some torrential rain, and the Doggies kicked 6 goals to zip to effectively end the match. Non-captain Tom Sparrow came off second best in a bump with the Bont, but really, we're all probably second best in any competition with the Bont, so that's no dig at him. Mitch Wallace and Gromit decided that mid-size forward is the new key forward, as the blonde Guy Sebastian dropped a sneaky 4 through the big sticks and moved into the top 10 for the Coleman. The game was sealed when Ben Nissan Kavara sealed it with a left foot dribble. Doggies into the 8 and win by 28.
Port versus the Hawks. Hawthorn supporters were playing the devil's trick. They were temporary expectation all week, talking of their greatest loss ever. I mean, they did lose, but it wasn't their worst loss ever. They even had a chance to sneak it at the end, except Ollie Scott Wines refused to let anyone take the ball out of their 50 metre. The two teams had a wrestle. Charlie Dixon lost his shirt, revealing a few very questionable tattoos. In his defence, though, they looked unfinished, so he still got a chance for redemption. Georgiadis of the Jungle missed from 8 metres out, which is never not funny when it's not your team. But the real highlight was when Lysette ruck tapped to I Can't Believe It's Not Butters for the sealer. Port win it by 10 points in a nail-biter.
Essendon versus Richmond. Dreamtime in the NT. This game sold out in literally 2 minutes. That's a quicker sellout than a Bieber concert. The welcome to country was awesome, the crowd was pumped, and in my opinion, the AFL has to play it in Darwin every year. The game also marked the debut of Urban Mosquito. With a smile more infectious than his namesake's bite, I think we've found the AFL's new cult hero. He kicked his first and Essendon's first, wrapped up Noah Lightning Bolter, and jammed through a second one later in the game. Dylan went bam, and the grime is gone, and flew up as he got into the night sky and take a specky on Tom Bellchambers. Kane Lambert kicked a snag and let down every member of the Hungry Hippos and didn't salute with a celebration. We'll give him a nudge to remember it. The Bombers hung around and refused to go away, much like a little brother or the farts I was doing after the Brussels sprout for dinner I had on Saturday. He's been doing it all day. Favourite Tom Lynch karate chopped Hurley's throat and nearly split Adam Sard in half. He's really almost just too big to play footy. The Tigers were too good in the end and take it by 2 straight.
Dockers versus the Swans. A tough day for the Swannies. Well, look, it was a tough day for most people watching this game. The Swans kicked a goal within 2 minutes from the start, and that's about all that happened for the next 2 quarters. Freo got hold of them, kicked 5 goals in a row, and that's it. That was the game. Literally, every recap, that's the game. That's all that happened. Nothing else happened. No players excelled. Nat Fyfe returned from driving trucks, and it's like all players really just knew that they were second billing to the Dreamtime game. Last thing on this game, though, Michael Frederick published a dubious DM that he received after the game, which was just a display of disgusting racism. And I know that our words don't really mean much, and we are here for a bit of fun, but seriously, if you know anybody that does that, is that, or publishes shit like that, you need to tell them to pull their heads in, because it's 2020, and, you know, I think everyone's just a bit sick and tired of dumb taking over the internet to try to make people feel bad. So, to Michael Frederick, we're out there for you, mate, and we definitely don't support anything that you received. The Dockers by 31.
Lions versus the Saints. This was the man of steel versus the man of Neil. At the Gabba, and it was Jack who did his best Lockie impression and had 15 touches in the first half. The yippity yips were back as the Lions were as accurate as the Stormtroopers are with their guns. They kicked 6 goals, 14. People are saying the Lions' inaccuracy is hurting them. I say it's helping them. After all, if they had to kick 6-11 and 3 out on the full, they would have lost. Scott Pendlebury 2.0 took the field for the first time, and Tom had Hart's full attend with his first goal in league footy. 2 massive smothers from doing it all day favourite Hugh McCluggage in the final minutes saved the Lions' skin. The man with 2 surnames, Harris Andrews, best on by an absolute country mile. The All-Australian Blazer is very much wrapped up. And the Lions in a nail-biter with another Hart stopper for me by 2 points.
The Crows versus the Cats. Much closer than anyone expected for most of the game. The 0-13 Adelaide Crows played like at the very least a 3-10 Adelaide Crows team. And all that talk after the game was that this was a positive. They saw everything that they needed to see. There's light at the end of the very, very dark tunnel that is an Adelaide supporter. Tex played his 200th, but refused to kick a goal in true Tex fashion. And the Tomahawk added another 3 to his growing tally, making a very strong case to be the big bull in the Hippo yard. Cam Guthrie thought the Sherrin was his mate from the Castaway Island, Wilson, with 33 touches. The Cats run away unconvincingly by 28 points.
And then our live update, the West Coast Eagles are playing the GWS Giants at the moment, and the Giants are making a pretty outrageous comeback. They're only down by 2 goals into the last quarter, but I think the game's just about over, but we'll give you an update later because that's why we know you listen to this recap on a Monday. And then Symon, for Collingwood versus North Melbourne Monday night, who's winning? Surely not your boys.
The Roo boys are going to absolutely ice the Maggies season. This is it, mate. We win this, and they're dunzo, my friend.
Oh.
They are absolutely dunzo. We're a lock. See how good our kids played last week? LDU's back. Mate, someone said he was the new Chris Judd.
That's round 13. Spicy takes time, boys. Spicy takes. Simon, you got a spicy take?
Mate, mine for this week, Tom Lynch. Mate, I'm backing him. I am here to support our man Tom Lynch, not just because he's our man and he's on the show, but Michael Hurley's punching him in a broken hand, exactly like Jake Carlisle did. No one mentions it. No one says anything. But then he gets pushed in the chest that slides up into his neck and then cries about it, throw his head back. Like he looked like the bloke off an Oral-B ad. He just went full flip-top head mode. And now it's like, oh, Tom Lynch, like he needs to relax. It's like, no. If someone punches you in the broken hand, you get to push off. That's allowed. That's okay.
I love watching an angry Tom Lynch, except if he's playing Brisbane, because when he is angry, he's dangerous.
He's so much bigger than everyone.
Not just physically dangerous, but he's going to kick goals on you.
Show? Justin, what do you reckon? You reckon Tom Lynch has got anything to answer for?
So, I don't know who said it, but someone said, like, he's just... I didn't really have much wrong with the stuff against Essendon in Dreamtime, but some of the stuff against the Suns the week before it up at the Gabba was a bit... Because he's not really like that, so I don't really know why he's doing it. I mean, he's probably getting provoked in most of these scenarios, so that's probably fine, but someone said, like, you don't need to be doing the fake punching stuff and that, because that's not really in his nature, so...
Well, I mean...
I don't know, and then when he started hitting Witsy and threw him on the floor, and it's like, I get it, everyone's going to, they're coming at him, so that's fine, but some of it's a bit over the top, I reckon.
Do you reckon he's feeling a bit under the pump? Because, I don't know, I mean, he's kicking goals, though, so he doesn't need to be under the pump. He's just like... Hub life, bro. Hub life sending people mad.
It's probably just a bit of being a full forward. You probably feel a bit obliged to sort of throw your weight around a bit. But he's actually the best bloke ever.
He's the nicest guy ever.
We had him on
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
So lovely. So lovely.
But look, Tommy, I back you in, mate. I back you in. Yep. Keep doing it. Keep shoving it.
All the boys that he's been doing it all day back you in. You are our number one full forward. I also reckon... As horrible as they play and as terrible as it was to watch and as much as it kills their supporters, I still think the D's are going to make the finals.
Mate, look, we're going to get further into this because this week we've foregone the interview because it is that time of the season where we need to make outrageous top 8 predictions. So I think we'll get into everyone's top 8 predictions in a little while. But Adam, the D's... don't deserve to be in the top 8.
Oh, don't deserve to be in there, but I think they'll make it. They've still got a game in hand. But I'll run through my top 8 in a bit.
Yeah, right. Okay.
I've got their draw in front of me, and it's touch and go.
Yeah, bro. I don't reckon they can
stink
do it.
though. Even if they make it, they stink. And currently Richmond are 5th. So if they snuck into 8th and they got Richmond in the first week of the finals, catch you later.
I'm not saying that they're going to win at all. I'm not saying they're going to win a final. I think that they'll sneak into the finals.
Best case scenario might be them getting West Coast. West Coast dropped to 5th, and they have to go to Perth Stadium again first week of the finals, and they can lose by 15 goals again. Who knows?
You got any?
All right.
You got any hot takes for this week's show? Anything you saw that you want to bring up?
Yeah, it's last chance saloon for the Crows. They've got the bye this week, thankfully. It'll be a nice relief for them to go at least 7 days without losing a game of AFL football. But next Tuesday, they've got us. They've got Hawthorn.
Oh.
And I think that's it. If they don't beat us, which I think they're very well within their right to do. I reckon we've been a little bit better the last couple of weeks, but if they don't beat Hawthorn, they've got Giants, and then Carlton, then Richmond. So they're far from odds on for any of those. So anything can happen in those games, but I reckon Matthew Nicks would be circling the Hawks game on Tuesday next week and praying.
I'll tell you.
Praying to the God.
I'll tell you what.
Praying.
Nothing says blockbuster like Tuesday at 5:40 p.m. against Hawthorn.
Oh God.
I'll be watching.
Do you know what?
Tuesday.
For the first time ever, the AFL draw has probably got that one right. Tuesday 5:40. Yeah, bottom of the ladder. You guys can just go in there. We'll just get this one out of the way.
All right, up next, top 8s. Every show is doing their top 8s, but all of their top 8s, and everyone's making predictions, and all of their predictions are definitely terrible, and ours are definitely right. So we are going to give you the definitive top 8 for the end of the season. And none of us are going to agree, but one of us is going to be right. And I already made the prediction that Hawthorn were going to finish bottom 4 for the year. At the moment, they're bottom 4. So let me tell you, my top 8 is going to be the best. But you start us off, Simon.
Okay. So my top 8, I mean, look, 1 and 2, that's sorted. Port and Brisbane, they're not going anywhere. Geelong, West Coast, they're not going anywhere. They're gonna. I think that will be the top 4. I'm looking at the run in. Geelong play the Bulldogs, they'll win. Essendon, they'll win. Richmond, maybe they don't win that. Sydney, they win. So that's 3 wins. They're not moving anywhere. And then West Coast play Richmond, Essendon, Bulldogs, Saints, North Melbourne. So they're definitely winning 4 out of those at the very least. So they're not going anywhere. They might even go to 3rd, which would be funny that West Coast would then have to travel to Brisbane to play. Cop that. Then next up, we've got, I reckon Richmond. Yep. I reckon Richmond don't change. They stay 5th. I think the Saints and the Doggies, I think they probably stay where they are. I think the Saints stay where they are. Collingwood, I don't think Collingwood's going to make the 8.
Who comes in?
I think the Blues. The Blues play Collingwood, Sydney, Adelaide, GWS and Brisbane in their last 5 games. They could beat Collingwood. They could beat Sydney. They could beat Adelaide. So that's 3 wins. And then Collingwood play North Melbourne. They're going to lose, obviously. They play Carlton. They say they lose that. Brisbane, they're not going to win. Gold Coast, they could very well lose. And then Port Adelaide. Collingwood could go 1 and 4 over the next 5 weeks.
So give us your 8, 1 to 8.
Okay. So I'm going with Port Adelaide, Brisbane, Geelong, West Coast, Richmond, St Kilda, the Bulldogs, but I'm not sold on them, and Carlton. That's my top 8. That's my
Justin?
top 8. So take out Collingwood and put Carlton in.
And you're keeping the same order as it is now, but Collingwood.
Oh, actually, no. I'm taking the Bulldogs out and I'm putting Melbourne in. No, actually, Melbourne stink. I'm not doing that. No, they
Okay,
stink.
so you're going as it is with
Yep.
Collingwood swap for Carlton.
Yep. And West Coast swap for Geelong.
All right, Justin?
Yeah, I'm going similar in sort of a particular order, but sort of not really. Port, Brisbane, Geelong, top 3. Richmond play West Coast this week. Next round. Who could say what day it is, really? Richmond, West Coast, and it's at Metricon. And I'm going to say whoever wins that is going to finish 4th. due to the fact Richmond had a draw, so their percentage is gone. And I'm going to say that it's at Metricon, and West Coast didn't have a very good time up at Metricon for the first 6 weeks of this season. I don't know if you remember. Tigers going to win.
Not like that at all.
They're going to finish fourth, I reckon. And they're going to lock in a date in the first week of the finals with Port Adelaide back at Adelaide Oval. And we all know how well that went last time they went there, when Port kicked about 75 points by quarter time. So I'll take West Coast at fifth. Saners are flying. Doggies are even flying even more, so I can't believe you're dropping them out. Collingwood
Mate, they play Geelong and West Coast. They're not beating either of those teams.
The Doggies aren't? Oh, okay. Interesting. Depends where
They're
it is.
not beating Geelong or West
This is
Coast.
the problem.
No way, bro.
You look at this draw. I mean, well, the Geelong game's at Metricon, and Geelong didn't exactly put Adelaide away today. So, I don't know.
Nah, they're like playing... That's like when you play like a dud team at high school.
Yeah,
like high school sports. You just
know.
don't play very well.
Could come at the wrong time. Anyway, I'm keeping the Doggies in. So, 8th position, by my reckoning, you're battling to go to West Coast in first week of the final. So, quite frankly, who cares? I don't... Collingwood have got the skids. Melbourne stink. Carlton are average. The Giants are probably the most underperformed team for the whole season. The Bombers are definitely no good. And then you're down to the cellar dwellers, Fremantle, Gold Coast, Hawthorn, etc. So, I'd love to see my boys get up there, the Suns, but I think they're a little bit too far back. Well, they're only 8 points out of 8th right now, so I'm going to settle on the Giants to find a bit of form and finish 8th somehow.
So your eight is Port, Brisbane, Geelong, and then West Coast and Richmond, depending who wins.
I'm taking Richmond
and
fourth.
And then the Saints. Yep, Richmond fourth, West Coast fifth. Who's your sixth?
Saints or Doggies, toss of the coin. Let's go Saints.
Yeah, and then Doggies in 7, and who's in 8th? The Giants.
Oh, geez, I don't feel good about the Giants finding form. Oh, they got a soft draw on the way home. Yeah, we'll take the Giants. Giants in 8th.
All right, my top 8, and I think there's going to be some changes because there's always changes. No, everyone's like, oh, yeah, it's going to be the same. There'll definitely be changes. So, Port first, Brisbane second.
How much does that pain you to say?
That's okay. It doesn't matter whether you finish first or second. Finish second, you still get a home final.
That's true. Are they also... Have we confirmed whether or not they're doing home finals this year?
Yeah, that's my thing. I don't know. Home finals probably not going to be a home final. So,
But if Brisbane finish second, they'll be playing a home final at the Gabba. They're not going to... Brisbane aren't finishing second and they go, oh, you got to play Metricon. No way.
You don't reckon?
That's unfair. Because what if Port finish top and then the Rona heads to Adelaide and then Port have to go somewhere else? They finish first. They don't get a home final. How can Brisbane then get one?
No way. There is no... I think that because they can play in Queensland, if Port can't go home, that's South Australia's fault. That's Port's fault. It's the fault of their state. If you can play in Queensland and Brisbane finish with the right to have a home final, it's played at the Gabba.
Spoken like a true Brisbane supporter, but yep.
It has to be.
Someone's going to get absolutely stitched. There's no real way around it, but there'll be a story this year where a Geelong or something has to play Brisbane in Brisbane or something.
Yep.
Something bad's going to happen to someone.
Yep.
Well, they'll probably get stitched like Brisbane did in the 2004, having to play a home prelim final at the MCG against Geelong.
Correct. Yeah, that's what will happen. So it'll be like fourth, whatever it'll be. Let's say Brisbane lose the first game to Richmond. Richmond will then have to play the follow-up prelim to, I don't know, West Coast at wherever. Optus. Cop that.
So I reckon it's going to be Port first, Brisbane second, West Coast third, Richmond fourth, Geelong fifth, the Saints sixth.
Geelong fifth?
Yep.
You reckon Geelong are going to slide to fifth?
I reckon Geelong will lose a couple that we don't expect.
Who
this
are they
weekend
lose to?
Against the Doggies. I reckon the Doggies will roll them.
Yeah, Doggies are humming.
Yep. Doggies midfield, absolutely rolling at the moment. So Port, Brisbane, West Coast, Richmond, and I'm praying that happens because I hope that Brisbane don't play Richmond in a final because we haven't beaten them since 2007 or something, 2009.
Yeah, that's not good for you guys.
So Geelong finish fifth, the Saints finish sixth, I think the Doggies finish seventh, and then I reckon Melbourne finish eighth. I reckon they come in. Melbourne with their game in hand, and their percentage is 112. Their percentage is more than
massive.
Appropriate at the moment. Yeah.
Do you remember when that game got called off at the start of the year, the Essendon-Melbourne game? Essendon were were airborne. They were going so well. They would have been red-hot favourites. We're going to get to the end of the season when they have to play that game. Essendon's will be just pitiful and their season will be over. And Melbourne are going to have a crack at the top 8. They're so lucky, Melbourne, I reckon.
Yep, 100%.
Do you think so? So we basically got Melbourne 24 points, Collingwood 26 points. So Melbourne have to win more games than Collingwood over the last hump.
Mm-hmm.
North Melbourne, Collingwood, who wins?
So the thing is that, like, if you go, who's going to win, who should win, that's not how footy works. Like, there'll always be an upset in there.
So, but Collingwood play North Melbourne, Carlton, Brisbane, Gold Coast, Port Adelaide. Well, they're not going to beat Brisbane, and they're not going to beat Port Adelaide. And then Melbourne, I suppose Melbourne have got all, Melbourne play St Kilda. They're not going to beat St Kilda, surely not. And then Melbourne have got 4 winnable games.
Melbourne play St Kilda. Where's TP? Is that in? They play that in Alice Springs.
Don't know.
Yeah,
I think
Traeger Park.
Yeah,
I think it is.
Mate, I'll put it on here now. I wouldn't be surprised if Melbourne beat the Saints this week and the Doggies beat Geelong.
Oh, mate, you should have put that in the spicy takes segment. Jeepers. That is red hot.
All right, well, we'll come back to these predictions at the end of the season, but for now, it's time for the award. He's been doing it all day. Time for our weekly award where we find out who's been doing it all day, and I'm going to start us off. The guy who's been doing it all day, all year, for many years, Rory Laird. Rory Laird just racks up touches all day, every day. He's been like back pocket of the All-Australian team, a mainstay for the last few years. Now they've moved him into the midfield because Adelaide suck, and he's still getting above 25 touches in short games.
Yeah. Well, I feel like, Justin, when you said it a few weeks ago, when McRae got 40 touches, that if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. It's just, I feel like this part of the season, you really see blokes who get the touches. You're like, you've actually been doing this all year. This many touches.
Although, in saying that, when you say it's easy, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. No one's really picking up on Jake Lloyd just racking up an extra 7 or 8 touches, walking out of the back, walking out of the goal square.
Exactly what I was going to say. Jake Lloyd is Rory Laird in Sydney, and players even know now they walk out and they get the extra kick. It's just like,
yeah. Apparently, I saw a stat that was like Stephen May's disposal average is increased 44% because he just walks out of the back square.
It shouldn't count, I don't reckon. You shouldn't.
Definitely
doesn't matter what
count.
you do with that ball once you take the kick in. It shouldn't count.
Yeah, that's the same with. I think that should be a stats change. But the rule change has to be if you take your 30 seconds wherever the ball goes from there. It's play on. Because guys are just soaking up 30 seconds when they're 55 metres out, being like, oh, yeah, I'm going to have a shot because we're up by 4 points and there's a minute 30 to go. You can't soak up.
Who's the judge of that? I guess the umpire, obviously.
If the umpire says you're taking your 30 seconds, it's play on from wherever the ball lands.
Oh,
What if you then have a shot and it's marked on the goal line?
I think still play on. If you take your 30 seconds, it's play on.
Yeah.
It needs to be black and white.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
Interesting.
Okay,
That's, mate, rules committee.
And because can you imagine the chaos if you have a shot and people are going to mark it on the line and like the chaos of the ball going down and then you got a ball up right in front of the goal.
I suppose if everyone knows that it's play on, you're just going to belt it as far away as you can.
Too much time wasting. And the other one is if an umpire stuffs up the ball up, like why do the second and then they recall it? Why do the seconds still come off the clock? So like an umpire bounces it. Let's say they bounce at the start of the game, 16-minute quarters. Yep. The umpire bounces it and then they realise that it's a stuff up and so they call it back. The time is still ticked down 4 seconds. If they do that 5 times throughout the game, that's 20 seconds and it genuinely could make the difference in a game which is decided by under a goal. Yep. Put the time back on the clock. It's not that hard.
Mate, put Adam Denson in charge, I say. That's
another thrilling rule changes with Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Back on topic. Who's been doing it all day, Justin?
I'm gonna call out a group of fellas and a single lady, the umpires.
Oh,
they haven't been doing it all day. They've been doing it all year. Now,
Jesus.
this is going to sound disgraceful, and I suck. I hate myself for doing this. The Hawks haven't won a free kick count since round 1.
Turn it up, bro.
Since round 1.
Sound like a Dons fan.
And the piece de resistance was yesterday in Adelaide, where we lost the free kick count in the second half 14-0. Didn't get a free kick in a whole half. First time it's happened in 5 years. I don't know how that's possible. I don't know how you can not get 1.5. I don't get it. I don't get it. So they've been doing it all year. And stop it. Give us some bloody free kicks.
My who's been doing it all day now? I tossed up this one because it's an easy one. It's a loose ball get, but as you know, Adam, you and I say, you got to kick them from the goal square. My who's been doing it all day?
You got to walk out of the goal square to get the touch.
Yeah, that's exactly what this is. Mine is, mate, it's just a good news story for the week. It's 2020 stinks. The season's weird, but have you seen a bloke love playing footy more than Irving Mosquito this year? Like they announced him, the Bombers put on their socials like when Waller gave him his jumper, and like so they play through all of this footage about like all of the people and they're like, oh hey Irving, like congratulations, good luck, blah blah blah, and then at the end Waller gives him the jumper and everyone starts clapping and he starts clapping too and smiling because he's just pumped to be there. He's like, I'm bloody pumped to be here, and then he gets out there, kicks 2, looks comfortable. Not a worry in the world, running around, big smile. It was just wholesome stuff. Just when you needed a bit of wholesome stuff.
And then a bonus, he's been doing it all day. A bonus, who's been doing it all day. All the designers of the Indigenous jerseys, they looked awesome this week.
They were very good. They were very good. Also, shout out to previous who's been doing it all day nominee, Dane Rampy. After I put him up, he then was finished for the season because he was actually playing with a broken hand. So there you go.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
All right, that's it for another episode of He's Been Doing It All Day. That was round 13. We'll be back next week for round 14. Check us out at YouTube where He's Been Doing It All Day. You can stream the entire show there and then check out the Instagram at Been Doing It All Day. There also might be some merch coming up too, so check in for that.